The Great Six Sense Bases, Mahā Salāyatana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. Introduction. Why this teaching matters. Friends in the Dhamma. Today we explore one of the most profound discourses on the Buddhist path, the Mahā Salāyatana Sutta, the greater discourse on the six sense bases. In this teaching, the Blessed One, Gautama Buddha, reveals the structure of experience itself and shows how liberation arises from clear understanding. We are all familiar with seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, thinking, and smelling. But do we truly understand how these experiences arise, why they bind us, and how we transcend their entangling? This discourse reveals the answer. It does not give mere philosophy. It reveals a path of purification, a path of direct insight, a path leading beyond suffering. This is a teaching for serious practitioners, for those who wish to investigate experience at its root and awaken to freedom. Let us walk this path together, step by step, moment by moment. Overview. What this discourse is. The Mahā Salāyatana Sutta presents the six sense bases, Salāyatana, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. The corresponding objects, visible forms, sounds, smells, tastes, tangible phenomena, mental phenomena. The six types of consciousness, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, etc. The contact between sense base, object, and consciousness. The resultant feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. The role of attention, craving, and clinging. How this cycle perpetuates suffering. How the path of insight frees the mind. In this discourse, the Buddha shows not just the mechanics of experience, but the psychological and existential root of suffering, and the way beyond it. Part 1. Beginning with the basis of training. Before the Buddha speaks about sense experience, he sets the tone, the gradual path. The training begins where the practitioner stands, embodied in ethical life. 1. Virtue, Sila. Like a foundation for a building, virtue steadies life. A person who abstains from killing, refrains from taking what is not given, lives with restraint in the senses, speaks truthfully, avoids intoxicants that cloud the mind, creates an inner environment free from self-inflicted torment. The Buddha often repeated that without virtue, the mind cannot find peace. Without peace, deep inquiry cannot arise. In the Mahā Salāyatana Sutta, the investigation of experience depends on a collected, non-agitated mind. Thus, virtue is not a preliminary appendix. It is the first essential step toward insight. 2. Restraint of the senses, Indriya Samvara. After virtue comes restraint. Restraint is not suppression, but mindfulness of incoming stimulation. When the eye sees a form, the mind can chase after it, or it can observe it. When the ear hears a sound, there can be craving, or just hearing. This restraint, watching how experience interacts with the senses, is the bridge between virtue and mindfulness. It is the watchfulness that makes clear seeing possible. Part 2. The six sense bases. In everyday language, we talk about the 5 physical senses and the mind. The Buddha gives them a precise formula: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. These are called six sense bases, Salāyatana. Each base is a receptive field, a domain of experience. The Buddha says, dependent on the eye, with the arising of eye consciousness, there is visible form. The meeting of the three is contact. Here we see the conditional nature of experience. Sense base, object. Consciousness, contact feeling. Let's explore this carefully. Eye base. The eye comes into contact with visual form. But it is not the form alone that we experience. The experience arises when the eye faculty is present. A visible object appears. Eye consciousness arises in dependence on contact. This triad is the condition for visual experience. Many people think they see an independent object, but the Buddha points out, what we call a visible form is not inherently lasting, satisfying, or self. It is a process of dependent conditions. Ear base. Similarly, the ear base contacts sounds. Sound does not arise because an object exists out there independently. It arises because the ear faculty is present, a sound object is present. Ear consciousness arises in dependence. Again, the experience is a conditioned event. No self in sound, no independence, only conditional activity. Nose base. Smells arise on the nose base in the same way. Nose, odor. Nose consciousness. Contact feeling. Whether pleasant or unpleasant, the experience arises conditioned, not as an eternal self or property. Tongue base. Tastes arise through the tongue. Tongue base. Taste object. Tongue consciousness. Contact feeling. Taste is tasteless without these conditions. Pleasure or displeasure depends on perception and interpretation. Body base. Tangible objects, textures, temperature, pressure arise through the body base. Body base. Tactile object. Body consciousness. Contact feeling. This is how we speak of bodily experience, but the Buddha shows it is not a self, only dependent processes. Mind base. Finally, mind matters. Mind is a sense base with its own objects, thoughts, memories, mental images, intentions. The mental base contacts mental objects. Mind. Mental object. Mind consciousness. Contact feeling. This explains how intangible experiences, ideas, dreams, memories arise dominantly like sensory experience. Part 3. Contact, feeling, and clinging. The Buddha goes further. Contact alone does not produce suffering. Feeling does. When contact occurs, a feeling tone arises. Pleasant, unpleasant, neither. The feeling tone conditions response. The Buddha taught that it is not feeling itself that binds us, but craving in response to feeling. We have all felt it. Pleasant feeling to wanting more. Unpleasant feeling to avoiding neutral feeling, to disregarding. This is the pattern of reaction that binds the mind. The Buddha says, when feeling arises, with craving it arises. With craving it becomes clinging. With clinging it becomes becoming. This is the psychological chain that leads to suffering. The Mahā Salāyatana Sutta shows the mechanics, but it also points to the remedy. Part 4. How liberation arises. The process of contact to feeling, to craving, to clinging creates the cycle of becoming. But the Buddha says, when the practitioner understands this process directly, the chain breaks. Let's see how this unfolds. Mindfulness, sati. Mindfulness is the key to seeing experience as it truly is. When the eye sees a form, mindfulness observes. This is seeing. Contact has occurred. A feeling tone has arisen. Mindfulness prevents the mind from projecting identity onto experience. Instead of, I see something I like. We observe. Sensory contact, dependent on conditions, giving rise to feeling. This subtle shift is revolutionary. Clear comprehension, sampahanya. Mindfulness with clear comprehension means knowing not just what is happening, but why. When mind sees a pleasant feeling arise, clear comprehension recognizes pleasant feeling is impermanent and conditioned. This changes the reaction. Craving does not naturally arise. Instead, investigation, concentration, samadhi. From steady mindfulness and clear comprehension comes concentration. Now the mind rests in unified awareness. Craving weakens, clinging dissolves. And with concentrated awareness, insight deepens. Part 5. Insight into the three characteristics. The Buddha taught the three characteristics as the ultimate analyzer of experience. Impermanence, anicca. Unsatisfactoriness, dukkha. Non-self, anatta. Let's apply each to the sense bases. Impermanence. Every contact moment arises and passes. A visual image appears. It changes. It vanishes. This is not permanent. Therefore, it cannot be a self. Unsatisfactoriness. Every experience is conditioned, not under control. Pleasure turns to pain. Neutral turns to boredom. This passing quality is uncomfortable if grasped. Therefore, clinging leads to suffering. Non-self. None of the sense bases, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, are self. They are conditioned. They change. They depend on causes. Thus, not self. This is liberation's insight. Part 6. Knowledge attributes of clear seeing. When practitioners repeatedly observe experience with mindfulness and wisdom, certain knowledges unfold. Knowledge of arising and passing away. Knowledge of conditionality. Knowledge of dissolution of phenomena. Knowledge of relinquishment. These are not abstract ideas. They are direct realizations arising in experience. When the process of contact to feeling to craving is seen repeatedly, craving weakens. And with weakened craving, clinging dissolves. This is the way to freedom. Part 7. The transformation of perception. The Mahā Salāyatana Sutta concludes with an invitation. See experience in its conditional nature. See how contact gives rise to feeling without needing ownership. See how craving binds. See how direct awareness frees. This is not philosophy. This is liberating insight. Closing reflection. Friends, observe now. When the eye sees form, what arises first? When the ear hears sound, what is first known? When the mind remembers, what is felt? Before name, before judgment, before identity, there is process. Be present with that. This is the teaching of dependent arising, not in far places, not in speculation, but here and now. You are invited to inspect this directly. Do not hold on to interpretations. Do not cling to identity. See the conditionally arising process. Feelings arise and pass. Cravings arise and pass. Clinging dissolves when seen as conditioned. This is freedom. Guided mindfulness practice. Sit comfortably. Relax the body. Notice breathing. Notice sensory contact. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? When an experience arises, observe. What is present? Conditioned by what? Without identification? Do not seek to hold on to any experience. See it arise. See it pass. Stay with awareness. This is the path of insight revealed by the Blessed One. Final invitation. This teaching is not for belief, it is for verification. Each moment of awareness is an opportunity to see how experience arises, how it changes, how it passes. Directly investigate. Liberation is not distant. It is visible here and now.